Well, what do we have here? It looks like Persona 5 Royale is going to be censored due to Atlas bending the knee for the clown mob over at ResetEra. Oh boy. Alright, let's get into this circus show. Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So, as many of you probably already know, Persona 5 Royale, which is like the deluxe edition of Persona 5, is going to be coming out next month. And, well, I was one of the people who was looking forward to it because I'm a fan of Persona myself personally. Yeah, well, we got some problems. So, problem being, Atlas has decided to cave in and censor the Western version of the game. I'm not even kidding, because ResetEra and the clown show that's over there had to whine and cry about it because they thought something was phobic and offensive. you know, oh man, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. I do not agree with censorship. I believe in free speech. I believe in things being uncensored. But leave it to ResetEra to want to change that. And since we're talking about Persona, I just want to say Mitsuru is best girl. Fight me! But Persona 5 Royale alters scenes that the clown mob found problematic. Problematic. I hate that word. But, here's the thing. They say, which, by the way, these people complaining over this, they're not real fans. They, every time you hear this clown show complain about this, they're not real fans. They don't support what they complain about. They just do it to make things worse. And then, of course, thing of it is that not only do they do that, but nothing ever satisfies them. We'll get into all of that. Prepare for a dulge of censorship apologism from the typical centrist brigade as they claim to be moderates, yet will defend to the death the woke censorship sweeping across the media landscape. It's a rote prophecy at this point, fueled by the incessant crop of news about one game, comic book, movie, or another being censored to accommodate the whims of clowns. Yeah, just the woke clown brigade. Because that's what they are. They're not real fans. They just like to ruin anything they jump into. It's like a disease, an infection. They infest whatever because they deem something as inappropriate to them when it's never anything bad. It's nothing wrong. They just like to complain to complain. The latest victim of their rampant crusade is none other than Atlas's Persona 5 Royale, whose localization team openly admitted to kowtowing to the demands of a vocal minority of crazed lunatics. And that's exactly what they are. They're crazed lunatics. Both IGN and GameSpot have two separate but similar reports about the incident, and which, this article goes into. So let's go ahead and start talking about the GameSpot article here. So this is kind of like the little bit about GameSpot. GameSpot admits they don't exactly know what the final product will look like in terms of the altered scenes featuring the characters, but Nampa assured them that they were doing something about it during the localization, saying, "As a localization manager, I really cannot do too much about what has already made it into the game. Our team members felt a little bit of awkwardness." Oh no, awkwardness. Oh. About when working on it. And with Royale, we were determined to see if we could do something about it, at least localization wise, because yeah, let's complain about a scene that is so-called awkward to them. Like what? What? I really? Because I can tell you, it's not an improvement of what they're doing. It's certainly not an improvement at all. On our end, it took a lot of effort consulting not just the production department, but talking with our marketing and how they would feel about it if we changed how things were in Persona 5 to this new way, which I can tell you is not an improvement. What would the public reception be? What the company would think, whether it would be okay if we do make the change. Oh, really? Because I think if you're making this change here, you're probably going to be losing money rather than gaining it. I'm just saying, you're turning people off to this because you're changing it for the demands of, people who actually don't support the game at all whatsoever. I mean, these clown mobs, they don't care. They don't support this. It doesn't matter to them. So, going forward. Namba didn't explicitly say what the changes were exactly, but stated that instead of making them predatory gay men harassing Ryuji throughout a couple of segments in the game, now they're portrayed as strong enthusiasts, with Namba telling GameSpot, "It's not a significant change, but I think there is enough of a change that people who weren't comfortable going through that part in Persona 5 would feel better this time around." Oh, God. What? I mean, I've seen the scene. It's where this couple, they are going after Ryuji, right? And they're kind of bothering him about trying to get him to, get into the mix, blend into the mix, if you get what I mean. But, it's harmless. It's nothing bad. It's just a little bit of a comedic scene, right? But, of course, people ResetEra just take so much offense. They're so hurt by it. In Royale, I don't want to say we made it mild, but we made it as if they're being very strong enthusiasts for something they like doing, but it's not like they're on the hunt for the young boys or anything. And then, of course, they went on to talking about IGN and what they had to say with IGN, and this is the statements here as well. We actually were able to go through some of the lines that players may not have perceived as well. Look at that feedback and then update it for the current generation. Note the current generation. Because, a lot of people are very thin-skinned today. Some people, can't see a joke. And that's the thing, ResetEra, they get offended over some of the dumbest things. It's like whenever I talked about Smash Bros. A few months ago, for those of you who may have remembered that video. ResetEra, there was somebody on there who, no joke, was so offended by Smash Bros. That they literally talked about and made an entire note, like a letter, to Sakurai about how they wanted more diversity representation in Smash. I mean, excuse me, but have you seen the cast of Smash? It's very diverse. Like, these people, when they were complaining about that, it was like one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. It was so dumb. And then, of course, here we are with Persona. So, as we continue to look through what they were saying in an article to IGN, this is what IGN was writing here. While Atlus didn't share exactly how these scenes would be updated. Oh yeah, no, this is not updated. This is more like downgraded. In response to these complaints, Advincula said if they would be addressing was one of the first things she did when joining the team. That's really important to me, and I think it's really important to the community as well. Advincula also explained that their localization team has an internal content review team she described as very on the pulse about what's right and what to do. She explained Royal was a chance to make it right. Simply put, Atlas's localization team is completely converged. Now the typical centrists will say, but no, the clowns complained about the gay men in Persona 5. It was Atlas' localization team making the changes. Wrong. The typical pronoun profile 90s on Twitter were all over Persona 5, claiming it was phobic due to the aforementioned two characters. Oh, because, it's not like listening to Twitter Puritans is going to stray you in the wrong way, right? It's not like they're going to lose you any money. Ugh. Yeah, Twitter Puritans and ResetEra? Ugh, no thanks. I wouldn't listen to them. I mean, look at how many cases we've seen of get woke, go broke due to Twitter Puritans and even ResetEra, right? I mean, there's tons of them. I mean, look at this tweet right here. Kanji goes through dozens of phobic jokes. Persona 5's only two gay characters are also phobic jokes preying on teenagers. Persona 5 Royale still not let you date another guy in 2020 in a game about teenagers in our society. Like, sis, it's not that deep. Alice are phobic. And see, that leads into another bit of the problem, because whenever this happens, of course, you see the Puritans come out and they'll call the companies or people they disagree with, isterphobes, to try to get them to bend the knee, the typical way they do it, right? Here's another tweet right here. Tokyo Mirage Sessions Fire Emblem Encore defeats Persona 5 Royale because the ratio of phobic content is approximately 0% margin of error. And then, of course, here's another tweet right here. The top requested Persona 5 improvements are always going to be in no order. Date boys. Revamped Akenji's story. Save Akenji. More time with Haru.
Switch. Slice of life with the PT. Cut the phobic scenes, but the question is, will Atlas do any of this?
See, that's the thing. They go on about these things all the time, but there were some great comments here on this article, which I like this one. Nuke on delete. This was a good one. The celebration didn't last long once ResetEra realized the Japanese version would remain unchanged. Many of them are still pissed and say they won't buy Persona 5 Royale until these scenes are removed from the Japanese version. Like, yeah, that's true. You can never satisfy these people. And here's an entire archive right here that this person had of the comments, which we're going to look through them because there's a lot. These people, you can't satisfy them. Like, that's the big thing. You can never satisfy these people. I mean, look at this.
Hey, look at that. Speaking up against the shit resulted in actual changes in the localization at least.
So you see, they're praising the changes in the localization, but they're still having issues with Japan not changing. Because, of course, these people live for the double standard. They want to push their colonial ways onto other cultures, despite the fact that they say, respect one's culture. And then, of course, here they go against that. Another comment over here said,
it's something, I guess. The problem lies with Atlas Japan.
So see, now they're blaming Japan because, Japan had these comedic scenes, and of course these people obviously are taking offense to the scenes. So they're trying to, blame Japan now. Now Japan's the problem. They have to change their ways. This is, this is what they're doing. They're trying to push that. They live for the double standard. They are nothing more than hypocrites. I mean, it's the truth. They are. I mean, you see it. I mean, here's another one.
How dare they censor the creator's phobic version?
That's the thing. This is what they do, This is why I'm saying I don't understand how ResetEra has so much power in the industry. I really don't. Here's another one.
This is good, and I'm glad because the localization team is speaking up about this stuff. In general, I'm pretty sympathetic towards the localization team anyway. Some of the bigotry in these games is just the point of the narrative, and it's hard to get around that. But that is more than being done helps with the whole believing the localization team are decent people thing. That said, I suspect even these newer, larger changes will be a limit to what they can do, and also it seems like they had to fight for this, and also, it's important to remember that the non-localized version of the game will still have these issues. This is not bigotry has been defeated. Its Persona 5 Royal will be slightly less painful to play through in the English. Glad they're changing. Well done on the localization team for speaking up.
And here's another one. I can't wait to see the one's cries of censorship. Yeah, censorship's a terrible thing. Get out of here with that. I'm just saying, I don't approve of censorship, but that's just me. Would prefer them cutting the scenes full stop, but oh well, it's a start.
It's so weird how centralized Atlas is and how employees have to fight to have blatant 1960s era phobia removed. I stare at Atlas West. What if they could? Better yet, Atlas Japan should remove the scenes entirely.
See, now right here is their way of trying to get into Japan and trying to change their culture by pushing their colonial Puritanism onto Japan. This is how they do it. This is how they try to break their way in. And this is what they're trying to do. They're now trying to make sure that they can get in there, change Japan's ways of thinking, change their culture to fit their ideology, right? This is what they're trying to do now. And no matter what, even though in their eyes, the localization, because they're glad the censorship's here, the problem is they're now saying that Japan's the problem and that Japan should change too. It's not just the localization, because you can never satisfy these people. Like no matter what you do, no matter what, they will never be satisfied. It's always something. If you bend the knee to them, then they're going to keep trying to make you bend the knee because you can never satisfy these people. I mean, here's another person right here.
Was it just a change in localization, or was it also changed into the Japanese original? I mean, they can change it, but it means shit if it's the original. It's still problematic.
See, that's what I'm talking about. They're going to try to do that. They're trying to push their ways in there as much as they possibly can. And this is how they do it. It's like a disease. They infest whatever they want, right? Like, they infest it, and the more you bend the knee to it, the more you let it spread. the more you stand up against it, of course, these people are still going to try to invade and intrude. I mean, that's just how they are. But this is what happens. This is why you can't bend the knee to these people. This is why you can never cater to them, because they want more. There's never enough for these people. It's like, don't ever apologize to them, right? Because if you do, they're just going to want more. And that's how this happens. And now, this leads me to question something. How many of you are going to buy this game still? Because me, I'm just going to import, the Japanese version. That's what I'm going to do, because I'm not going to pay for this. I'm not going to support censorship. So I'm just going to buy the Japanese version, and that's what I'm going to do. But let me know what you think about this entire situation down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here, and make sure you are still subscribed, because YouTube's unsubscribing people from all their favorite channels. So make sure you are still subscribed to all your favorite channels. Hit the video with a like if you enjoyed, and share the video. Spread the word on social media. Get it out there. It's greatly appreciated, and it really helps out the channel a lot. Also, be sure to follow me on Discord. We have a wonderful community there, and also it'll keep you up to date on when new videos will come out, as well as any updates on any upcoming events as well to come. So be sure to follow me on Discord. The link is in the description down below. But anyways, I hope all of you have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today. And remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow can always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you. And have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.